Hello and welcome to Easy Book Review. Today we are going to review the third law of Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. I highly recommend that you read this book as it has a lot of skills that will help with conflicts in life, and understanding these laws will help you notice when someone else is attempting to get the upper hand on you. Law 3. Conceal your intentions. Keep people off balance by never revealing your true purpose behind your actions. If they don't know what you're up to, they can't plan a defense. Lead them down the wrong path far enough that by the time they realize your true intentions, it will be too late. There was a man that was very interested in a beautiful woman. He begged for attention but never got it. Being unable to get her out of his mind, the man searched out a coach. The coach he found decided to take him under his wing and teach him how to get his true love interested in him and to fall in love with him. The coach taught him the art of concealing his intentions to strike interest from the woman he was interested in. This would only work if the man followed the coach's plan down to the detail. The man would show her very little attention at some points, and then other days not show her any attention at all. She would schedule appointments with him, and he would purposely not show up for some of them. He would also surround himself with other beautiful women so that it would strike jealousy. Though the woman felt jealousy, she also liked it because it kept her on her toes, and she began to show interest in the man. And she would ask questions about the man to her friends, which would make it back to the man. And so the man would get excited, knowing that she is getting interested in him. One day, the man was alone with the woman. Against his coach's advice, he broke down and expressed his love for her. The woman, being confused, excused herself. And for the next several days, the man would try to talk to the woman, but she would always mysteriously not be home. What began as charming now seemed ugly and conniving. The woman now felt embarrassed and used. A door was closed that would never open again. Most people are open books and express their feelings and opinions at every corner. The reason? First, it's easy and natural to want to talk about your feelings and plans for the future. Second, many believe that by being open, they are winning others' hearts and showing their good nature. Power will never come to someone who is so predictable. False sincerity. Sincerity and honesty are not synonymous. You can be one and not the other. You can act sincere while hiding your true intentions. A person can obtain someone's real confidence by revealing a decoy secret. This decoy secret will cultivate an air of honesty in one area to disguise dishonesty in others. The story of Joseph Yellow Kid Wheel, Chicago's greatest con artist. Mr. Sam Conceal of Chicago sold a warehouse for $1 million. One day, Joseph Wheel visited him in his office and stated, "I would like to buy an apartment." Sam Conceal, wanting to strike a deal as he always has in the past, was willing to listen to Joseph's proposal. Joseph told him the story of the Baal worshippers that was all lured into one synagogue and slaughtered, wiping out the entire faith in one foul swoop. Wheel talked about his uncle, the secretary, who had always been taken advantage of by multimillionaires, and how he had built up a grudge over the years. He spoke how his uncle's employers, the multimillionaires, decided to sell their hunting lodge. Deciding that a way to take advantage of the situation and get the multimillionaires back all in one attack, he spoke of putting in a setup man to buy it for $35,000, and then the setup man would resell the hunting lodge for the real value of $135,000. All legal and for good cause, his uncle's just retribution. Sam decided to jump on board with this. So they hopped on a train and went to the place where they would meet up with the financiers. On their way, Sam looked over and noticed a man by the name of George Gross, shadowboxing in the corner. He asked, "Who is this?" And Joseph replied, "Oh, I'm also a trainer on the side for boxing, and this is my star pupil." Not noticing George Gross's flabby appearance and gray and middle-aged at best, Sam continued on his conversation with Joseph about the deal that they were about to strike up. Once they arrived at the hotel, Will and his uncle went to go get the financiers and left George Gross and Sam in the hotel together. While Sam sat there, he noticed George as he shadowboxed in the corner. Not noticing that he was wheezing after just a few minutes of exercise, he went on about his business. After about an hour, Will and his uncle returned with the financiers. All of them were men, well-dressed in suits, and very intimidating. As they spoke over the details about the deal, the financiers threw out big names as J.P. Morgan, as if they knew exactly who he was. As they were all speaking, one of the financiers noticed George Gross boxing in the corner, and states that he also has a boxer in his entourage. As they're speaking about it, Joseph Will mentions that his boxer would knock the financier's boxer out easily. The argument escalates, and the financier states that he would happily take on a bet with his boxer. Joseph accepts the $40,000 bet. After the financiers leave, Will goes to his uncle, and his uncle begins to tell him, "We cannot afford this $40,000. And Joseph guarantees that his boxer will win because he knows the boxer in the financier's entourage, and states that he can just bribe him with a little bit of the money and stage the whole thing and win. Sam, not wanting to jeopardize the deal, offers to throw in $35,000 of his own money in the bet in an exchange for a portion of the money that was won. Will and his uncle thank Conceal for his contribution, and the fight is set up. When the fight goes down, George Gross is clearly outmatched, but after a few swings in, it's looking like it's evening up. Then the opponent throws a striking blow straight to George's face, knocking blood out of his mouth and laying him flat on the ground. As blood spews out of his mouth, everyone runs over to George Gross to check on him. One of the financiers, a supposed retired doctor, checks his pulse and announces that George has died. Sam Conceal, not wanting to be charged for the crime, jumps up and leaves, leaving his money and everything behind. After Conceal leaves, George gets back up. They had used chicken blood in a pouch in his jaw, mixed with hot water, to stage the whole thing. The financiers, George, Will, and his uncle all split the profits. $35,000 was a good profit for only a couple of days of work. Use a smokescreen to distract prospects into a second path that will lead them down a slippery slope. Do not underestimate a kind-seeming person. They may creep like a mouse and have jaws like a lion. This concludes Law 3. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out Law 4. Always say less than necessary.